Permission or no permission? That is the question. Hi everyone, this is Annindita Palaus, and today I'm back with a video on a widely asked question in the Reiki community, that is whether we should be asking for permission before sending distant Reiki. When we are doing Reiki in person, then it is kind of assumed that you are taking permission because the person is there paying you and the person came there for a healing session, so it is implied that you have their permission. Especially if you are practicing Reiki as a professional and you are getting payments from people, it is always a good idea, anyways, to have some kind of a disclaimer signed by the people. However, the question arises when it comes time to doing distant healing sessions. Of course, again, when you are doing professionally, you could still send the same permission form to the other person asking for their permission. There is no harm in that for legal purposes. But often the question that is asked in Reiki communities is not for legal purposes, but from a more moral perspective. That we should not take the other person's free will by doing distant Reiki for somebody without their knowledge. And I believe when this question is asked, it is coming from a place of not understanding properly what the Reiki energy really is, or at least how Reiki was originally meant to be done. Reiki was never originally meant to be done as a way to enforce healing on anyone. In fact, Reiki was and has always been a way to empower the recipient to allow for their healing to occur. It is not a way to force healing onto someone. If you're trying to manipulate someone's energy or force healing onto someone, then of course, if you are manipulating with somebody's reality, you would need their permission. But Reiki has never been about manipulating somebody else's reality. In fact, I made a very detailed video about this, and you can check out the link to the video. I have the link below in the description, as well as you can check out the link above, where I made a detailed video about why Sadhguru, that is an Indian yogi and mystic whom I have been following for some time now, is against Reiki. And I, in fact, explain in great detail why he's against Reiki and the three things that you should be avoiding as a Reiki practitioner or Reiki teacher. So I definitely suggest checking out that video. But for the purpose of this video, where we are talking about whether we need permission or not for sending distance Reiki, usually when I'm asked this question, I like to reply to this question with a set of other questions. Does the sun ask for permission before shining? Does the wind ask for permission before blowing? Does the water ask for permission before flowing? Do the flowers ask for permission before blooming? Let's say you are out camping and you have a campfire on. So some people who want more heat, they will naturally sit closer to the campfire, and those who don't will sit away from the campfire. But does the fire really care about who wants the heat and who doesn't want the heat, and decide accordingly whether to radiate heat or not? The campfire will still continue radiating the heat. Similarly, the sun. The sun doesn't care that some people don't want the sun to shine as brightly as it does in certain places. The sun doesn't care that some people don't want to get tanned or some people want to get tanned more. It just shines brightly, no matter what. The wind doesn't care whether somebody wants the wind to be blowing or not. The water in the rivers don't care if people want it to be flowing or not, or the rain doesn't care. So Reiki is really part of that universal consciousness, that universal energy or chi or life force energy, which is intelligent in nature and it is all knowing. And this Reiki energy is non judgmental in nature. And therefore, the whole system of Reiki is also non judgmental in nature. So when you are doing Reiki on someone, whether in person, one on one, or whether you're doing distantly, this energy has to come from a non judgmental place. So you are doing this healing session, but you are not really the healer. You are just a channel through which this energy is flowing. And you are literally holding the space for the recipient's healing to occur. But you are not enforcing healing. You are not trying to manipulate their reality in any ways. You're not trying to mold that person's energy in any specific way that you think is needed. And so, Reiki really is done from a place of unity consciousness. But when people ask questions like if we should take permission, and some people have assumed that permission should always be taken, and they are very rigid when it comes to getting permission for doing distant healing sessions. So, a lot of practitioners say that permission is an absolute must before doing distant healing session because you cannot tamper with somebody else's free will. So that is coming from really an idea of separation, where you see that person as separate from this universal energy and separate from you. Would a mother ever ask for permission before taking care of the child? Will a mother bother to ask the child for their permission before feeding the child, or bathing the child, or taking care of the child in any way possible? Would you be asking for permission from your pets before taking them to the vet? Do you ask for permission from your plants before watering them or putting fertilizers on them? So you don't. And there is never ever a question of whether it is ethically correct or morally correct, or you are somehow hindering with the other person's ability to decide, or free will of the other person. Similarly, if you're walking down the street and you see a person lying unconscious on the road, you are not going to sit there and wait for the person to gain consciousness before you can get their permission to decide whether or not to take them to the hospital or not. You are just going to go ahead and take them to the hospital. You are going to call 911. You're not going to start thinking that, oh, I should not be tampering on their free will. This is not right, ethically or morally. No, you know what the right thing is. So when it comes to such questions, always follow your heart. Your heart will always show you the right way. You would know what the right thing to do is from every situation to situation. And every situation is different. So you would know when you follow your heart's guidance, you will know what to do. But when it comes to Reiki, this is just my 2 cents, that I believe that Reiki comes from a non-judgmental place. It comes from a place of unity consciousness where there is no separation. And so when you're doing distant healing for, let's say, a relative or a friend who is sick, of course, when you're doing it professionally and you're getting paid for it, for legal reasons, if you need some kind of written proof and permission, and you want them, or at least want their family members to sign some kind of a disclaimer, definitely go for it. That is for legal reasons, if you have a business. But if you are just doing Reiki on your friends and family, and if you get to know that somebody is sick and you don't have the means to get their permission, maybe you're not able to get in touch with them, or maybe they are so sick that they are not even conscious to be giving you permission. So don't worry about getting their permission in such cases, as long as you are doing Reiki from that place, that non-judgmental place, where you are allowing this energy to decide whatever is the best, whatever is in the highest and best good for the recipient. You are not trying to mold the energy, you are not trying to manipulate the energy, you are not considering yourself as the healer. It is not about you and your ego. It is just about this energy, making it present for the recipient, and then giving that space or holding that healing space for the recipient, and then allowing the healing to occur however it is fit for that person in that moment in time. In that case, you really don't need to worry about getting permission all the time. And along the same lines, I have also often heard people say that if somebody is under some heavy prescription medications, or they are going through some specific treatments at the hospital, then Reiki should not be done until unless they are off their prescribed medications, which is also not correct. Reiki energy does not interfere with any prescription drugs. Again, as long as you are coming from that non-judgmental place where you are not trying to influence the energy in any way, you are just being a channel for this healing energy to be passed on to the person, and you allow that person and their consciousness to work with this energy in whatever way is deemed fit by that person's higher self. Then you need not worry about any of these things, because you are not interfering with anybody's free will or their energy systems. So I hope this video made sense. And if you liked it, then like it, share it with your friends and family who you think might benefit from this video. leave your comments below, and I will see you soon. Happy holidays. Bye for now.